To question of whether United States will continue its attacks on Houthis, Biden replied, "We will be sure to respond to them while Houthis continue this ugly behavior." Reporter, Husis ing. Will you continue the attacks if the attacks do not stop? President Biden, we will be sure to respond to the Houthis who continue this outrageous behavior. With our allies. Joe XA6FCDL. The Recount January 12, 2024 updated at 23.06 CET Fabian Hinz, a Middle East expert from Institute for International Strategic Studies, said that size of U.S. attacks is not clearly symbolic, but if you look at unmanned aerial vehicles, missiles that Houthis use against international shipping, you know, they are mobile and compact. Houthis are expert at storing them. Before the Houthi leader Abdulmaq al-Husi said no American attack will remain unrequited. Hinz said they talk to the United States as if they were at war, and they will not want to get away from it. Thomas-Greenfield told UN Security Council today in New York that purpose of overnight attacks was to disrupt and weaken ability of people to perpetuate their reckless attacks on ships and commercial vessels, stating that the strikes are necessary and appropriate. They are in accordance with international law and the UN Charter 51. He stated that United States uses the right of innate self-defense as reflected in Article. He said yesterday's strike was last a series actions taken by the United States for purpose legitimate self-defense with other countries and on a broad diplomatic backdrop global condemnation. More than 2,000 ships have been forced to leave the Red Sea since November. Across from Houthi, Thomas-Greenfield stressed that United States does not want any further conflict in region and that its purpose is simple: to reduce tension and restore stability in Red Sea while maintaining basic principles of freedom of navigation. 10:28 Central Europe Time. Emma Graham-Harrison in Israel. Despite the Houthis threat to retaliate against Israeli targets, there was little immediate response to the possible tensions in Yemen. Fighting against Hezbollah in Gaza and in North poses more pressing threats to Israel. And attack took place on eve of a Jewish rest day, when country focused on legal fight over genocide charges at International Court of Justice. The strikes were welcomed as a show of solidarity by the military correspondent of the newspaper, Yedioy Aharonot. Ben Yshai wrote the attack in Yemen, USA. It makes clear that Britain and whole West are resolutely standing by his side and are even willing to risk spreading the conflict they have not yet engaged into other parts of Middle East. But despite Houthis' focus on Israel's war in Gaza, he argued attack was more about U.S. geopolitical rivalry with Tehran and threat to global shipping. Israel is not main story here, but rather the warning signal the U.S. is running out of patience and therefore not only Houthis but Tehran can also suffer its consequences. The ISR